What's up? It's Dave, it's Duncan back from Metal Epidemic. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all well. Joining us on this video, we have a new addition to the Glasgow music scene, but with some familiar faces. Hardcore punk band Go Down Fighting. How you doing, boys?
All good, sir. Thank you very much. Good, man. Thanks for having us on.
Pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Listen, any excuse to talk about hardcore and I am in. Like, you do not have to ask me twice.
You were one of
his nickname literally, and I can't stress this enough, his nickname for about as long as I've known him is Hardcore Dave. That's what he's just known as, so.
True story.
When I did this shit, I sent it straight to you. You were one of the first people that I sent it to.
Nice.
So, I knew you, because obviously when we spoke about the Man With album, we were talking about hardcore stuff and that,
yep.
So I was like, he's the first guy I'm saying.
He's all about it. It's all about it. Like any opportunity, like slip it into the review cycle as well. It's like, just another hardcore album's coming.
I know. I think that first week we did the reviews. I think it was like all hardcore. It was like 4 hardcore albums in the first week we reviewed. Like it was just every single one of them that came in. I was like, yep, we'll do them. Nice. Not a problem.
Nice. That's
any excuse.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Like, firstly, like for people watching that are like new to you guys, to the band, ourselves included, can you give us like a bit of background? Like, how did this kind of band come about? How did it all start?
I don't know. It's like the guy that sings in the band's my best mate. Like we grew up, we went to school together and stuff like that, and we just used to do a band. I'm showing my age here. Back in like the mid-90s, called Side Effects, and it was kind of hardcore sort of stuff. It was like Sick of It All type kind of stuff like that.
Nice.
And I've known Ali since around about the same time because he played in bands at that time as well. And I've played in bands with Ali before in the past as well. So
right.
I've known each other for a long time. So that happened years ago, and then it kind of fell away. And like I was talking the last time, I've always, big massive hardcore fan, probably more so than metal, you know what I mean, in a lot of ways, do you know what I mean? And my mate had a really good hardcore voice, and I always thought, fuck man, he's never really got a chance to, utilise his voice properly and stuff like that. So it was just a case of, I was like, after the Man With album, I just did not want to look at a fucking heavy metal riff. I thought again, man, I'll write a heavy metal riff ever again. I was like, fuck that. I'm just going to play straight up fucking old school hardcore punk. Is that's what I'm doing, and that's it. And I basically just said to my mate, and obviously Ali as well, he plays in Divide, the Glasgow Hardcore Punk, playing Divide as well. So it was a no-brainer, do you know what I mean? We'd all kind of jammed, in bands throughout the years and stuff like that. So I asked my mate Dave, asked Ali was like, I'm up for it, and Jim from Man With as well.
Oh, nice.
Basically, I just fucking absorb Jim into everything I do, man. It just seems to be like that, you know what I mean? Yeah. Pretty tight musically, so we just decided let's do it, and it's just been a lot of fun, man. Do you know what I mean? Just banging out good punk. Do you know what I mean? Like proper punk. You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of the hardcore now, I don't know if maybe Ali, but you agree, but I think a lot of hardcore now hasn't got the punk in it.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it became something. It's became like. It sounds more like metal to me. Do you know what I mean?
I do think we're going to see a shift in that pretty soon. There's a lot of kind of more traditional kind of hardcore punk stuff coming out now. It seems to be a bit of a resurgence there. So who knows? I mean, it might be the right kind of time for us to be,
perfect time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of that kind of stuff, and it's refreshing to see. Don't get me wrong. I like all my metalcore and all that kind of stuff. I've been listening to all that stuff since our late mid-90s and all that as well, and there's a place for that. I think it's good to have the variety. So it's good, you'll see these kind of waves. It's like any kind of form of music, things are going to come in fashion, go out of fashion, then they're going to come back inevitably. It's good to see. It's fun playing this stuff. When I got the call from these guys, obviously I jammed with Joe and Dave and stuff in the past. No Jim from earlier bands, Man Must Die. Madman is absolute. So we've either been in bands together or we've been playing gigs, all of us together since the late 90s. So when you get a shout like this, it's going to be fun.
You get your pals, man. That's it. You get your pals. You know what I mean? It's none of this shit like I'm in a band with 3 other guys that I fucking hate. I'm actually in a band with 3 guys that I like, so I'm only joking, by the way. If my misty's watching this, fuck yeah, I mean it. No, all joking aside, it's just like, you know what I mean? It's like, with my mistake, you know, there's a dynamic that kind of has to kind of be there. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously Alan and stuff like that. And I'm not saying they're not my friends. They are my friends. I don't mean that.
Yeah.
But it's more, when it comes together in my mistake, it's more like a, right, we need to do this sort of thing.
Yeah.
With this, it was just like, you know, half the time when we meet up, we talk shite in the studio. Like absolute, you know, just bollocks.
It's fun. That's
exactly.
Fundamental, pun intended. And you know, you get to a certain age and stuff, and you've done the whole pushing, you know, the sort of the machine, the band that's a machine, and you're trying to push it, and you're going, you know, all out with it. I'm done with that, man. Like, I just want to get and play fun. Anything beyond that's a bonus, you know. Like that's it. You know, that's where I'm at now. And do you know what? Since we've been doing that kind of thing, it is more fun. So, you know, that's it. You take it seriously to some extent.
Of course, you want it to sound good. You know, you don't want to go in and it sound half-arsed. You want to obviously put everything into it, but
there's less pressure.
That's it, exactly. You don't have record labels involved, you know, all that type of shit like you have with Mammoth Die and deadlines, and you know, with us it's just like we do a song, we put it out. We do a song, we put it out. You know what I mean? It's up to us what kind of level of productivity we want to kind of get involved in it.
Totally.
Yeah, you've obviously churned out like 3 singles already. You've got Butcher's Apron, Won't Be Denied, and Circling the Drain already out on like streaming platforms and all that sort of stuff. How did those tracks come together? What's the kind of writing process like for you guys? Are you writing as a unit, as a group, or are you all bringing individual ideas in separately, or how does it all work?
I kind of come up with the core of it. Do you know what I mean? Just because I kind of have more time than the rest of the other guys, and a lot of us I don't really have kids, although Ali doesn't have kids, but obviously Ali's got like a job. I'm a dog walker, I don't have a real job, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of bands.
He's in about 72 bands, so and David's got kids, Jim's got kids, so I mean, but so I take a lot. I pretty much write all the kind of music.
Right. Okay.
But when we go in and we play it in the studio, it will change. Do you know what I mean? Things will get added and stuff like. These guys will go, why don't we do that again? Why don't we try that a second time or whatever? So I mean, I come in with a kind of basic idea for music, and then these guys will help basically kind of jig it.
You've been giving me a kind of come in with a kind of core of drums that are made in a drum machine. I'll take that, get the kind of vibe from it. Then take on the kit in the studio, we'll play it, and you know that's how I end up writing the final kind of drum part. But Joe's, you are actually a bit of a machine here, so maybe the machine.
Well, I'm saying I kind of like Alex saying, I get the kind of core of the music, but David he writes all the lyrics and stuff like that,
right?
Which is cool for me because in Man Must Die, we spoke about the last album, especially the last album I took to do with pretty much everything. I even done the drum beats, everything, the song structures. It was just a fucking nightmare. So it was great to, just actually hand that off to him. And, I think, he's very much, he's like me. He's kind of, I'd say kind of me and David and Jim and Ali, there's probably... we're kind of 2 camps, but we're the same band, obviously. But I think, like Jim and Ali, obviously I'm speaking for you, Tim, if I'm talking shit. I think you tend to like the more metal-y kind of hardcore, like.
I dare I say it, I was always into the tough guy stuff.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I like some of that as well.
So when there's a kind of breakdown, there's a wee bit of groove. Don't mean a beatdown, just like a breakdown or dance kind of part. That's my kind of vibe.
Totally.
But I mean, I tell you what, like this band is like going to the gym every time I go to the it's usually in bands I've got a terrible habit of speeding up while we play. A lot of drummers do.
That's no problem in this band, man.
I can't seem to play too fast for these guys. We've solved that problem, but the other problem is, again, I'm not getting any younger, but this band seems to keep getting faster and faster. So, it's a challenge, man.
That's what happens when you got a prick like me writing the tune. But like, say what I was saying with that is like that there is a definite kind of like Jim. I would say, if you ask Jim what his favourite hardcore bands, he'd probably say things like Terror and things like that, and that's cool. I mean, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely more into the really old school stuff like the Minor Threats, the Discharge, you know what I mean, like Bad Brains, all that type of shit. And David's kind of more into that type of shit as well. Like Sick of It All as well, and that type of stuff. But I think the combination works really, really well. Do you know what I mean? Because like, let's say some of the parts I've maybe come in. One song in particular, I can't remember what one it was, but it was pretty much rapid all the way through, and I think it was, I don't know if it was Jim or Ali, it was one of you guys says, why don't we kind of put a bit like that, and then we kind of put a slowed down bit in. So I mean, that's cool because they'll keep me in check. They'll go, oh well, it's maybe a bit too fast all the time. That's obviously, that's the kind of shit I like, because like, the 1.5 minute, 2 minute fucking smash in the face, get to fuck sort of stuff. But I don't even know what the fucking question was, man. But there you go, that's a long way it does. To whatever question it was, man.
Just you were kind of touching on little kind of influences and stuff. I've got a question for you both. I'll give you a little bit of background first. I started playing in bands when I was about 15, something like that. And it was a kind of hardcore punk band that I played in very first. That was like my first band. And I hadn't really listened to anything much in that style. I just kind of got, these guys are looking for a drummer, like give them a shout. I was all right, cool, no worries. I was still in that kind of like Pantera, Sepultura, Machine Head type phase at that moment. And when I joined that band, the guitarist of the band, he was like, I'll give you some stuff to check out to get a bit of an idea of what we're kind of aiming for. And he gave me a cassette tape, showing my fucking age here, right? But he gave me a cassette tape, 2 albums. It was a band called Propane. It was their first two albums. And I heard that for the first time. And I was just like, that was me. I was absolutely hooked after I heard that. And I was just like kind of rinsing all sorts of kind of hardcore and punk after that. So a question for the both of you, what was the kind of album that like a hardcore, a punk album that you heard for the first time that really kind of grabbed you and was like, just made you an absolute fan of the genre?
Oh, that's hard, man. It's a weird one with me because I started getting into hardcore probably, I'm going to say like 93, something like that.
Right.
So I think, it might be 93 or 94, but Extreme Noise Terror Retribution was
right, okay.
Because I was in 93, 94, I was into a lot of the same stuff you were talking about there. I was into Pantera, with the first Machine Head album, because that's the only one that really fucking matters.
Yes.
Like Sepultura, KLCD, Arise, for the Maidens, and Slayer and all that. I was very, and then obviously I was into like a lot of, in the early kind of 90s, I was getting into like Napalm Death, the Utopia Banished had just came out and stuff like that. So I was into a lot of that, and then, but I remember a lot of the guys in Napalm talking about their hardcore influence and stuff like that.
Yep.
That kind of put me down a path, because Barney actually sang on an Extreme Noise Terror album. I don't know if you know that. But, so that's what got me. And I remember, I'm showing my age here as well, but there used to be a thing called the Power Hour. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh yeah, that rings a bell.
It was in the early 90s, and it used to be on at like fucking 3 o'clock in the morning, because like they just got people like heavy metal just for vampires and stayed up all fucking night. But so I used to time record it on my VHS back in the day. And I saw the video. I'd heard the name Extreme Noise Terror, and then I saw the video for a song of theirs called Rape in the Earth.
Yeah.
And when I saw it, the 2 singers, one guy was like kind of like pure, and the other guy was like, I was like, fuck, that's the fucking business, because at that point I was just into anything that was extreme.
Yeah.
And then for there used to be an old shop, but it's still there. It's missing still in Glasgow. Is it still there?
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if it is. Actually, no.
There used to be a shop in Glasgow called Missing. And when it opened, the very first shop that opened was right next to Ivory Blacks in Glasgow. I'm getting back to the very early 90s here. And there was a guy in there. I was in buying, like looking at the hardcore section, and there was a guy, we used to call him Neil the Punk. And we were only young, we were like 12 and 13, and he was like, "Did you like that, wee man?" And I was like, that. And he gave us loads of like power, which turned out to be power violence stuff, like Crossed Out and Pink Flamingos and that, like really fucking extreme underground, like punk basically. And it just kind of escalated. And then Sick of It All released Scratch the Surface, and that was me. Do you know what I mean? But How about yourself?
I mean, it's funny you mentioned missing there. So I thought, I was a wee metalhead to start
So
off
was
with.
I.
And, you went at, obviously there was no streaming services.
Yeah.
I miss these days, the magic of going to a record shop. I can always harp on about this, so I'm going to harp on about it again. Imagine going to a record shop, you find the record you want. It might be out of stock, but if you found it, that's one win there.
Yeah.
Then you get in the bus, you got to go back home, so you're reading all the liner notes. All that stuff's gone now. But we used to go to that missing, and it was madball. It was demonstrating my style.
Nice.
And really from there, it was a case of, right, I like this kind of hardcore stuff. There's hardly any press about it. So the next thing you do is basically look at the label. What label are they on? All right, they're on Roadrunner. So, and then you look at the thanks list. Look at find all the bands in the thanks list. Go look for them. Yeah. That's basically how it all went. And then obviously your tape trading. You used to trade tapes all the time, make mixtapes up. You listen to them in the motor and stuff. The good old days.
Making compilations on your cassette.
If I'm totally honest, do you know the first experience of a hardcore band, and I didn't even realise it at the time. I was a wee guy, went to Sepultura at the Barrowlands in 1996.
How was it that?
And do you remember who opened?
Was it like Orange 9mm or something?
It was Strife.
Strife, aye.
So Strife opened up at the Barrowlands for Sepultura, no less. So that was my kind of first taste of an actual hardcore band. Why are these guys kicking about with X's on their hands and stuff like that? Didn't have a clue. And Biohazard as well. That is a gateway drug.
I totally forgot about Biohazard, because like Biohazard to me is like it is hardcore and it isn't. But I will go on record that I was and still am a fucking massive Biohazard fan.
I bet there's a lot of folk that listen to Biohazard. They got into
agnostic
the
front
cool stuff later. But
totally.
Biohazard have a lot to answer for getting folk into it.
Urban Discipline was a big album
absolutely
for me as well, man. When that came out, that was huge. Do you know what I mean? So I got the Biohazard, man.
Nice. I know what you're saying about the whole physical thing. Like I'm going through that at the moment. Just recently bought myself a turntable, so I'm getting back into that.
Nice.
Anyway to segue into a conversation, man. Honestly, we had joked for a while. We were going to see how long it took him to become that guy in conversations, and apparently it was like the day it arrived.
Yeah, I'm the same, man. Like that kid, I used to have a really, really big record collection. Like I really, I collected it because I couldn't afford CDs when I was a kid, and back when vinyl, now you pay a fucking fortune for vinyl, but when I was buying vinyl in the fucking late 80s into the early 90s, you could get it for buttons, you know what I mean? You could so I had really rare records. I had like the first Suicidal album, the original pressing and stuff like that, and like a right prick, I sold a lot of it because I totally, and I basically because I was starting up my own business and I didn't have any collateral, I had no cash. So it broke my fucking heart. But like I write that kid, I went back and started buying them all again. The never costing me an absolute. I paid like £2 for this in 1991. This is now 40 quid. Pink vinyl, something like that. And I still buy it because I'm a fucking idiot.
Yep, same. Nice. So just on the three singles that you've released, were they self-recorded, or did you go somewhere to track them, or?
No, we self-recorded.
Oh, nice.
Aye, pretty much. Ali does like a lot of he mixes stuff and all that kind of stuff. He's involved in that sort of thing, but so we kind of tracked individually.
David's got the skills as well. He's
knows what he's doing.
Knows what he's doing as well. So, in fact,
we all, apart from me, you know what I mean? But, I'm very basic. I just record and then press record and fucking play. Do you know what I mean? But so
there's plenty of experience.
We all know enough.
He's selling himself a wee bit short as well. Everybody's got that kind of ability now, which again makes that whole process easier.
Oh yeah.
You can send each other parts back and forth and all that, so it does really make a difference. And then, again, with the mixing stuff, everyone's pretty clued up, and it makes things quite quick to do.
So, kind of back to your question, what Ali was saying, we're all pretty clued up, so we kind of all recorded my parts, sent them to Ali. Ali kind of jigged everything to make sure everything was cool.
Yep.
And then we sent it to one of our really good mates, Scott Walker. I don't know if you know Scott.
I think we spoke about Scott the last time.
Used to be in Chilton and all that.
Yeah.
So we asked Scott to mix it.
Nice.
Because obviously it's somebody fresh, a fresh set of ears. He did a really fantastic job, and David mastered it as well. So it was a wee bit of everybody kind of mucking in and stuff like that. It's kind of with these bunch of songs, we really wanted it to sound like not metally at all. So we deliberately I'm speaking for myself as far as the guitar sound. I didn't want a really, really metally guitar sound. I wanted it to sound like old school kind of punk and have that more kind of
Same with the drums.
Exactly.
I didn't want it to be too
clean.
Aye.
So, and I think we captured that with the sound of them. Do you know what I mean? They're not too polished, and I kind of like that about it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's the type of stuff that we kind of gravitate to as well. A lot of the newer stuff we're getting in hardcore wise or punk wise, it's very polished and a bit kind of clinical. But the stuff that's got that bit of grit to it, that kind of old school feel, that's the stuff that I love. Like I love that kind of production that's just perfect, especially for that genre as well.
It needs to have a vibe. You know what I mean? You need to listen to it. It just needs to grab you in the mood. I think if it's too clinical, it just like. What they're singing about, like what's the message? Like everything sounds too like the bits where things break down as well. There's no dynamic there. It's all like we're going to fling booms behind it and all the rest. And that's how you know it's heavy. And I just kind of lose my sense with it. I think you guys also you were talking about like that change from like the cycle of kind of the more punk influence stuff to the more metal influence stuff back to more punk stuff. And I caught from your like Facebook page and obviously from your lyrics as well. I mean, it's not difficult to be angry at the moment. Like whenever whenever the news is on or whenever you hear a fucking story or something, like the world's pretty fucked. And I think that's when the punk stuff starts to flex its way back through. I mean, there was plenty of things to be fucking angry about in the 90s. And then there's plenty of things to be angry in the kind of 2020s as well. So I think he's really captured that vibe. How much of that is a kind of conscious effort, like lyrically? I know you were saying you don't like write the lyrics, but is that something you're deliberately trying to infuse, or is it just a case of it's just flowing out?
I think obviously David would have been better if David was here to talk about the actual lyric, what the lyrics are about and stuff like that. But just from knowing the lyrics to the songs and stuff like that. I like you were saying. I mean, it's like fuck's sake. If there's a lot to be angry about. Do you know what I mean? A lot. So I think it's just a matter of like. I think with this, one thing that me and David did talk about is we definitely didn't want to have this tough guy fucking shit. This you're hard as fuck. Even down to the name. I remember we were coming up with names. We were throwing names about and they were the jail, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like Smelt was another one, you know what I mean? And they were funny, but we were just like, right, hang on a wee second here. I don't want to be some tattooed fucking idiot with a wife beater on trying to look solid, because I'm no solid, do you know what I mean? I'm a guy in his mid-40s that just tries to avoid confrontation. I think we all are, man, you know what I mean? So I think you can still be angry, man, you know what I mean? But don't portray that sort of I'm a hard bastard image, do you know what I mean? And I think David's did well with that. I think, he's pretty clued up, politics-wise, although the songs aren't overtly political, they aren't, but he's pretty clued up in world affairs and stuff like that. And I think as well, it's like, it's just there's a song about Scottish independence, for example, right? One of the songs is about Scottish independence and stuff like that. And I don't know. I hope you didn't vote no, but I think we all voted yes for it. Do you know what I mean?
You did.
We did. So I'm sure he would have said if he heard the lyrics. So we're just David's kind of taking the stuff at an absolute base level, sort of perspective, and there's one of the new song that's coming out, the one we're doing the video for, that's about mental health. Right. And it's like overtly about kind of mental health, but it's, so I mean, that we're trying to do these kind of non-typical kind of hardcore topics as well, do you know what I mean? So we're trying not to be that oh my hard bastard, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, because if you go back to the really, really early punk, like, you know, like your Minor Threat and Bad Brains, and all, even Discharge, they're angry, but they don't portray an image of trying to be hard.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what David was trying to do, it, man. I think he's done a really good job so far, man.
Yeah.
I think that's the misconception a lot of the time with people that write aggressive music is that they're not very smart. You know what I mean? like they don't have a message. They're just angry. They're just shouting. It's just noise. And it couldn't be any further from the truth. Like if you get into the lyrics, the human perspective is really important, I think, in all these things. I think it's what grounds the music and it's what makes it relatable. As much as I love songs about serial killers, I'm not one. Not that anyone knows. I'd keep that to myself. You know what I mean? But like there is that thing where if you can relate to something, it just means more to you. So picking diverse subjects that are pertinent now, I think are important to that. You've obviously got the 3, you're doing the 4th one with the video. Are we thinking EP here, or do we think there's enough in the tank for an album? Are you even thinking about that? Is that even a kind of thought at the moment?
We've got the 3 singles, obviously, that came out there, but I think we're just going to draw a line under that, and just have those 3 singles as their own sort of thing. I think moving forward, we're kind of maybe going to try and do an EP sort of thing. I think that's kind of vibey. We're just going to try and knock maybe a 4, 5, maybe 6. We'll see. I don't know, but maybe just kind of do like an EP from then on sort of thing. But it's just. Again, we don't want to get caught up in an album situation. If you get caught up in an album situation, you know, I spoke about you with the Man Must Die album. My fucking brain was in my arse at the end of that. So I don't want to put myself... Not that this demands anywhere near the amount of fucking attention that did, but I think it's just a nice, easy...
I think it's played by ear as well. That's the whole kind of point. You know, I think if you're in a situation whereby the music's coming thick and fast, you're on a roll, and it's looking like it's going to carry over into album, you know, we'd probably know at that point, and we'd keep going. Yeah. If it's starting to slow down, we've had our ideas, and you know, we maybe want to sort of work on them and perfect them, and even, I mean, the big thing is getting out there gigging as well. We've not done that yet, so it might be better to just, you know, do a few tracks and do an EP and just get out and start gigging. But again, totally, like, there's no rules.
There's no rules to it.
It's punk, man. There's no rules. Exactly. We'll get to that point, and you know, we'll probably be able to feel it out. You know, is this gonna should we carry on doing albums?
I mean, we'll just take it. We'll play it by ear, man. But like Ali was saying there, it's just good to have that kind of freedom. You know what I mean? Where you can just put, you know, a single in. I am an albums guy, you know what I mean, in the grand scheme of things. I think we spoke about that last time.
Yeah, you're like me that way. I'm very much an albums guy, so.
Aye, totally. But with this kind of stuff, because the songs are so short, and I think it was a good idea releasing like those 3 singles pretty close and you know, next to each other, because obviously the songs are really short, and you can really focus on those those particular songs as and when they come out. Whereas if you just went, here's 3 songs, you know what I mean? And one's a minute and 45 seconds, and the other one's like 3 minutes, and the other one's 2 minutes. You know what I mean? People are probably less likely to actually kind of hone in on the songs or whatever. But we're just going to play it weird, but definitely want to play shows. So that's that's the number one this year. We want to try and get to play some shit. That would be good. That's my main priority anyway, man. That would definitely.
Nice.
Oh, we'll be there, definitely.
Yeah.
For sure, 100%.
Absolutely.
A wee gang vocal on the fucking song. That's it, man.
And this next single that you're doing, is it like a live video type thing, or is it going to be like what type of video is it you're working on for that?
It's both.
But both are right, cool.
So part of it's live, and the other part's kind of. I'm not giving too much of it, but it's us doing. Although the song is about mental health, it's kind of we're trying not to put a really dark spin on it, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
Because if you when you hear the song when it actually does come out, it's probably the most light-hearted one that we've put out.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's still punk and it's still got a hardcore edge, but it's definitely
it's almost got elements of pop punk in it.
A wee bit, but when you get David singing it doesn't sound like that because he just sounds like a fucking Rottweiler. So but aye, so it's got a more uplifting vibe. Do you know what I mean? Like musically, so it'll have. We're kind of trying to take the mental health thing, but kind of, if you can make a light side of it, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I suppose you can. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the vibe, aye.
Nice. So when we expecting that in the next couple of months, or
well,
pretty soon?
start. Well, hopefully, because we start filming this Saturday.
Oh, nice.
So we're doing the kind of storyboard stuff. Me, David, and Scott, actually, Scott Walker.
Yeah.
We're doing that, and then the following weekend, the following Sunday, innit?
Aye.
We're doing we're filming the live stuff in Ivory Plaques in Glasgow.
Right.
Oh, wicked.
Cool.
So, and we've got Gav, the singer from Centralia.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know Centralia?
Yep.
He's doing he's doing that. He's basically doing the video. He'll obviously cut the storyboard stuff into the,
right.
the live shit as well, man.
Right. Yeah, I know Gav from mega years ago.
Toy.
Yeah, from Wolf. That the band I was in at the time, he was in Toy at the same time, so we played a lot of shows together in Falkirk and stuff.
Because they're from there, aren't they?
They were. Toy were Falkirk.
Yeah, Toy Falkirk, yeah.
Yeah, back in the day.
Back a while, man.
All showing our age, yes. All old bastards.
I've decided to just give up the hair ghost and just stop. As I was hanging on to it, man, I thought, get this to fuck. Getting the penalty spot, you know what I mean? I was like, fuck this. Just get it shaved.
Shaved his head, started the hardcore band.
Exactly. And I'm trying not to be hard.
Nice. Oh, you suit it, man. You suit it.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate. You too, mate. You're rocking it well.
Yeah, I had no choice either. I just had to go with it.
Nature's decided for me and you, mate.
Basically, yep. Nice one. Listen, thanks very much for coming on, man. It's been a pleasure. I can't wait to hear what you guys do next. I'm really looking forward to hearing the new track. I've loved everything you've done so far, and we'll be there. Like when you're playing live, we'll definitely be in the crowd for that. Absolutely.
Thanks again, man.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
Yeah, pleasure. I'll put all the links below to the band, your previous videos and all that sort of stuff, so people can check them out. And we'll hear more soon, very soon, hopefully.
Will do, man.
Nice.
Cheers, guys. Much
Cheers,
appreciated.
Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Man.
One night, stood in front of wall, beating out.